What we're doing is scouring social media and bringing some of those in to share with the viewers. And you're looking at another picture there, which I'm not sure what city that is that we're showing, but the lower right, I'm told, is Tokyo, Japan. So, all right. So, Lucy, here's the question. The earthquake back in March of 2011 struck at about 2:46 p.m. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center recorded waves of up to 30 feet high that ultimately hit the Japanese coast. And then the Japanese government declared a state of emergency specifically for the nuclear power plants near Sendai, which is about 180 miles from Tokyo. Have we heard at all from the national government in Japan thus far?
No, there's going to be a news conference in about an hour and a half by the Japan Meteorological Agency. So they're going to wrap up sort of what the situation is right now, what damage there's been, if any. You know, the government, I have to be reminded that the government is very reluctant to issue false warnings because they're very concerned about people not responding and respecting the alerts. You know, if people start to think that the government's not being serious and they're being overly cautious, then they stop evacuating when they're supposed to. So when it says in big red letters on the screen, "Run away right now," then they expect people to comply with that. Yes, we're still not seeing anything. There's no tsunami appearing yet on the coast. They're focused right now on Iwaki City, which is in southern Fukushima prefecture, near where the nuclear power plant is that was damaged. But they're still saying, you know, evacuate immediately. So this is very serious. We're seeing a little bit of waves now in Iwate, which is northern Japan, but certainly not. We're not seeing the catastrophic waves that we saw back 5.5 years ago.
And that is certainly good news for the folks living in that region. We all remember those horrific images of the humongous waves just washing over the coast and bringing with it the ships that were in its path, debris, people's homes, and hopefully we won't see a repeat of that this time. We know, obviously, that millions of people were affected by this and thousands were killed, and hopefully this will not be any order of that magnitude. We're also still on the phone with us is Bruce Presgrave. He is with the USGS, and we've been talking to him about sort of the science behind these tsunamis and these earthquakes. So, Bruce, let's take a sort of a top-down approach and think about this. Explain to our viewers, maybe people don't understand exactly what happens when an earthquake occurs off the coast of an island, off a country, those plates shifting, and what ultimately that does to the ocean water. Just give us a sense of the science behind that.
Basically, to have a tsunami generated, you need a big, shallow earthquake underneath fairly shallow water, and especially if the seafloor itself is broken, rather than just shaken by the earthquake, but if the faulting actually occurs at the seafloor, like it did with the Sumatra earthquake, and I'm pretty sure it did also with the Tohoku earthquake. When the faulting actually occurs in the seafloor, and it shakes the water, it displaces the water. Maybe a little bit of an analogy is if you're carrying a bowl of water and you shake the bowl, the water sloshes around. That's not exactly a tsunami, but it shows how shaking can cause the water to be displaced. When the water is displaced, it then runs out from the source of that displacement, source of that motion, toward any land anywhere, right? The big earthquake, the Tohoku earthquake, for example, had tsunami waves that were observed on coasts of North America and South America as well. So it goes out in all directions, but obviously it generally gets lower in amplitude, gets smaller as it goes away. Think of again a ripple in a pond.
And
as the ripples go farther away from where you dropped a stone in the pond, it gets smaller and smaller. So obviously the biggest risk is always the coast that's closest to these tsunamigenic quakes.
And Bruce, I just want to update our viewers. We are seeing now from the USGS a new advisory saying that there is a low likelihood of casualties and damage based off of the new information that is coming in right now, which is, again, something that we've all, I'm sure, we're hoping and praying for. I want to bring in
yes,
Richard Lloyd. Sorry, go ahead.
I would like to emphasize, though, that warning, that estimate does not include the risk from tsunami damage.